Doug makes his move when Julie and JJ unknowingly tip him off, and Sophia drops a bombshell on Tate. On today's Days of Our Lives, Holly and Tate learn that they received an A on their project and immediately start making out. Holly suddenly realizes she needs to rush to finish her Christmas shopping before the businesses close. They're excited to spend their first Christmas together, so she heads out to shop. Next, Aaron stops over, and Tate informs him that they received an A on the group project that Aaron did not contribute on. After more discussion, Aaron informs Tate about his mother and the fact that he would be leaving Salem for a short time to visit her in Vancouver. At least until after the winter break. They say they will miss each other, and Aaron is relieved Holly and Tate are back together. Dazed Tate gestures to Aaron as they converse in front of the Christmas tree in John and Marlena's apartment. Out on the plaza, Leo runs into Holly and begins rambling, explaining that all of his shopping has been for himself because he doesn't have any friends. But he did reasonably well this year. Holly has a gift for Tate, and Leo finds that they are no longer a secret couple. But when Holly fills him in on the Sophia drama, Leo predicts that the difficulties aren't over yet. Most fairy tales are short-lived, as is his relationship with Javi. He assures her that he is cheering for them, but now that she and Tate are back together, the hard part begins. Still, he hopes they make it. Merry Christmas! He runs away, leaving Holly to sigh alone. JJ returns home to the Horton residence, where Julie confronts him, not for skipping Doug's memorial, but for running away with that nightmare, Gabby Hernandez. He tells Julie that Gabby risked her life to help him and Chad. She tells him it's nice that he finds the good in people like Doug, but don't make her tell him about the time Gabby attempted to murder her. Okay. I won't. Dazed Julie clutches JJ's arm as she leans over and introduces him to Doug at the Horton residence. They begin discussing about Abigail, the time capsule, and the lost jewelry just as Doug enters the room. Julie gladly introduces him to JJ, who agrees to show Doug around. Before they leave, Julie tells JJ more about the stolen necklace, and they discuss the similarities between Leo stealing Abigail's jewelry and attempting to sell it. Doug becomes serious after asking for additional information on Leo. He says he needs to run and will have to take that tour with JJ tomorrow. Doug departs, and JJ questions Julie about the necklace. She has not called the cops. It's only a piece of jewelry, and it's not worth handing Steven over to the cops. Furthermore, he has equal rights to the necklace as the rest of the Hortons. Javi is overjoyed to see Gabby's home, and she takes no time in telling him about her journey in Canada. Javi learns from the tale that JJ cares deeply about Gabby, just like you do about him. Gabby insists there are no sentiments and that the whole affair was about Clyde, not JJ. But Javi keeps pushing until she reveals she and JJ were once more than friends, but they broke up a long time ago. Dazed Javi looks incredulous as he sits at the kitchen table talking with Gabby, who has a glass of wine. But when he discovers that they shared a room and a bed, he refuses to let it go. He asks to see JJ's picture, which Gabby shows him on her phone, and a surprised Javi tells her he's hot. What's the problem? Gabby says that JJ discussed getting together, and Javi encourages her to contact him and get things started. Actually, he goes one step farther, stealing her phone and messaging JJ for her. Kat appears in the graveyard while Chad converses with Abigail's vacant tomb. Jack and Jen instructed her where to locate him, but she has second thoughts and flees, feeling like she's intruding. Chad stops her and asks if she has any news regarding her mother. Nothing, but at least she was reunited with all of her siblings. Including Mark. Text reads, subscribe to the Soap's Days of Our Lives newsletter. Get breaking news alerts, daily recaps, exclusive interviews, and spoilers delivered directly to your inbox. https://cloud.email.soaps.com/signup. Chad is concerned, but Kat reassures him that Mark will not pursue him again. He will be in prison for a time, so she is taking the kids to Vancouver to see their mother. She only wanted to say goodbye. In the show's final seconds, JJ brightens as he receives Gabby's text message suggesting she'd like to get a drink. He assures Julie it's simply a work thing and smiles as he puts the phone down. Gabby returns home and panics at what Javi did, but he encourages her to be patient. A response text arrives. JJ recommends a drink tonight. Dazed Chad smiles slightly as he and Kat converse in the graveyard beside Abigail's tomb. Chad is happy for Kat. After everything they've been through, they're mainly fine. Kat is touched and grateful to him, especially given how she and Mark have harmed him. She apologizes, and Chad understands. That was Clyde's fault. She uncomfortably says goodbye, not knowing if they would see each other again, and leaves Chad alone. He tells Abigail, "Wherever you are, I love you," and goes home. Kat sighs as she enters the pub and remembers telling Chad she still cares about him. Aaron arrives, and they leave to pick up Felicity and drive to the airport. Back in his room, Leo hears a knock at the door. Doug is hoping to sell the necklace. Finally, Tate ends the phone call with Holly, who is shaken by Leo's warning. Tate hears a knock and responds. Sophia comes in and says she has to talk. "I'm pregnant." The air in Salem was thick with tension as relationships unraveled and secrets threatened to surface. Doug Williams, ever the cunning strategist, found himself at the center of a brewing storm. It all started with an innocent conversation overheard at Julie's place. A misstep at Julie's place. Julie was bustling around her restaurant, proudly showing off the new seasonal menu to JJ Devereaux, who had dropped by to pick up takeout. Their chatter was light-hearted, with Julie reminiscing about past holiday gatherings and JJ casually updating her on his latest case. Amid their conversation, Julie inadvertently let slip something she shouldn't have. "Doug's been awfully curious about that locked box in the attic," Julie remarked absent-mindedly while handing JJ his order. "He's always been so nosy, but I'm starting to wonder if there's more to it." JJ chuckled. Locked boxes in Salem always spell trouble. Who knows what's in there? Unbeknownst to them, Doug was standing just out of sight, having come by to surprise Julie. He froze in his tracks, his ears honing in on their conversation. A locked box? The mention of it ignited his curiosity, and he was determined to uncover its secrets. Doug makes his move. Later that evening, Doug approached Julie with his usual charm, feigning casual interest. "Julie, my love, I couldn't help but notice that attic box you mentioned earlier. What's in it?" Julie narrowed her eyes, instantly suspicious. "Doug Williams, don't you dare go snooping. That box has been up there for decades, and whatever's inside should probably stay there." Her reaction only fueled Doug's determination. That night, while Julie was preoccupied with a phone call, Doug crept into the attic. The box, as promised, was locked. But Doug had come prepared, having snagged Julie's spare set of keys earlier. Inside the box, he discovered a collection of faded photographs, handwritten letters, and one particularly damning document, a birth certificate with a name he didn't recognize. The parents' names listed were a shock. Sophia Horton? Doug whispered to himself. Anne. Tate Donovan? Sophia drops a bombshell. Meanwhile, Sophia, the enigmatic woman who had recently arrived in Salem, was plotting her next move. Her connection to the Horton family had been a mystery, but her involvement with Tate Donovan was about to send shockwaves through the town. Tate, who had been growing closer to Sophia over the past few weeks, confronted her at the Brady pub. "Sophia, you've been avoiding my questions. I deserve to know the truth." Sophia's eyes softened, but her resolve remained firm. "Tate, I didn't want to burden you with this, but you have a right to know. The truth is, I'm your sister." The revelation hit Tate like a freight train. He stumbled back, knocking over a chair. "What are you talking about? That's impossible." Sophia's eyes filled with tears as she reached into her bag and produced a copy of the same birth certificate Doug had found. "I've been searching for you for years. Our father, he kept us apart. But now that I've found you, I'm not letting you go." Fallout and frenzy. Word of Sophia's bombshell spread quickly through Salem. Tate, overwhelmed by the revelation, sought solace in Teresa's arms. Teresa, his ex-wife and mother of his child, was equally stunned but promised to help him navigate this new chapter. Doug, meanwhile, decided to confront Julie about what he had found. "Julie, you need to see this," he said, presenting the birth certificate. Julie's face paled as she realized the implications. "Doug, you don't understand," she whispered. "This changes everything." Unwilling to be kept in the dark, Doug pressed her for answers. Julie finally confessed that years ago, a young Sophia had come to her, claiming to be a Horton. "I didn't believe her at the time," Julie admitted. "But now, maybe I should have." A town divided. The revelation of Tate's connection to Sophia and the Horton family caused rifts among Salem's residents. Some, like Marlena and John, urged forgiveness and understanding. Others, including Brady and Eric, were more skeptical of Sophia's intentions. Sophia's presence also reignited old rivalries. Eve Donovan, Tate's aunt, saw an opportunity to manipulate the situation to her advantage. She began planting seeds of doubt in Tate's mind, warning him not to trust Sophia too quickly. A new mystery unfolds. As Doug continued to dig deeper into the contents of the attic box, he uncovered another clue, a key with an unfamiliar insignia. Determined to solve the mystery, he enlisted JJ's help. Together, they traced the key to an old safety deposit box in a nearby town. What they found inside sent chills down their spines, a series of letters that hinted at a larger conspiracy involving the Horton family and a powerful figure in Salem's past. The letters suggested that someone had gone to great lengths to keep Sophia and Tate's connection a secret. The showdown. As tensions reached a boiling point, Doug called a family meeting at the Horton house. Nearly every major player in Salem showed up, curious about what Doug had discovered. "This family has kept too many secrets for too long," Doug began, holding up the letters. "It's time we face the truth, no matter how painful it might be." Sophia and Tate stood side by side, bracing themselves for whatever revelations might come next. Julie, visibly shaken, stepped forward. "Doug is right," she said. "We need to address this head-on. But no matter what, we're still a family." The aftermath. By the end of the night, alliances had shifted, and new questions had arisen. Doug's discovery had set off a chain reaction, bringing hidden truths to light and forcing Salem's residents to reevaluate their relationships. As the town settled into an uneasy calm, one thing was clear: the drama was far from over. Sophia's arrival had been the catalyst for a new chapter in Salem's history, and the ripples of her bombshell would be felt for years to come. Days of Our Lives, drama unfolds as Doug makes his move, and Sophia drops a bombshell. A moment of triumph turns romantic. The day begins with Holly and Tate basking in the glow of their academic success. The young couple celebrates getting an A on their group project with an affectionate kiss. However, the joy of their moment is interrupted when Holly remembers she has some last-minute Christmas shopping to finish. Promising to spend their first Christmas together, she rushes off, leaving Tate smiling after her. Not long after, Aaron drops by Tate's place. The conversation quickly shifts from the project to Aaron's personal life. He reveals he'll be heading to Vancouver to visit his mother for the holidays. As they part ways, the boys share an earnest moment of camaraderie, wishing each other well and expressing mutual happiness for Holly and Tate's renewed relationship. A cautionary encounter. Meanwhile, Holly's shopping spree is momentarily derailed when she runs into Leo in the town square. Leo, as verbose as ever, laments his solitary holiday season. When Holly shares the news that her relationship with Tate is no longer a secret, Leo offers a cryptic warning. He predicts trouble ahead, referencing his own failed romances, and casts doubt on the longevity of young love. Despite his grim outlook, Leo wishes Holly a Merry Christmas, leaving her with a mixture of gratitude and unease. Doug's curious behavior. Over at the Horton house, Julie confronts JJ about his recent escapades. Her frustration isn't about his absence at Doug's memorial, but rather his association with Gabby Hernandez. JJ defends Gabby, insisting she's changed and even risked her life to help him and Chad. Julie remains skeptical but softens as JJ points out her own history of seeing the best in people, just like her beloved Doug did. Their conversation takes a turn when Doug enters the room. Julie introduces him to JJ, who offers to show Doug around town. However, Doug seems preoccupied, particularly when Julie mentions the stolen necklace and Leo's involvement. With a thoughtful expression, Doug excuses himself, leaving JJ and Julie puzzled. Javi stirs the pot. At Gabby's place, Javi is thrilled to see her back from her Canadian adventure. Gabby recounts the harrowing trip, downplaying any lingering feelings for JJ. However, Javi's persistent questioning forces her to admit she and JJ once had a romantic relationship. Things escalate when Javi learns they shared a room and a bed during their recent escapade. Javi, ever the meddler, decides to take matters into his own hands. Snatching Gabby's phone, he sends a flirty text to JJ under the guise of Gabby. When JJ responds positively, suggesting they meet for a drink that evening, Javi smugly tells Gabby to thank him later. Emotional farewells. At Abigail's grave, Chad finds solace in speaking to his late wife. His reflection is interrupted by Kat, who approaches hesitantly. She informs Chad that she's heading to Vancouver with her children to reunite with their mother. Their conversation touches on past traumas, including Kat's brother Mark and his vendetta against Chad. Kat expresses deep remorse for the pain her family caused, and Chad graciously absolves her, blaming Clyde for the chaos. As they part ways, Chad's heart remains heavy. Alone at Abigail's gravesite, he whispers a declaration of love to his late wife before heading home. Secrets and revelations. Back at the Horton house, JJ prepares for his impromptu drink with Gabby, unaware of Javi's interference. Julie eyes him curiously, but JJ brushes it off as work-related. Meanwhile, Gabby anxiously awaits JJ's reaction to the unsolicited text. When his positive reply comes through, Javi smugly advises her to play it cool. Elsewhere, Kat arrives at the pub, reflecting on her bittersweet goodbye with Chad. She's soon joined by Aaron, and the two depart to pick up Felicity and catch their flight. Twists in the tale. Doug's sudden departure earlier in the day is revealed to be part of a larger scheme. He knocks on Leo's door, presenting the stolen necklace for sale. Leo, caught off guard, hesitates before letting him inside. Finally, at Tate's place, he wraps up a phone call with Holly, who is still rattled by Leo's warning about fairy tales not lasting. A knock at the door interrupts his thoughts. When he opens it, Sophia stands before him, her expression a mix of fear and determination. She drops a bombshell, "I'm pregnant."